Good. Thought we were a little slow on Monday, getting back late and getting a start. And we, did a little less than we normally do on Mondays, but we had a good one today. A really physical Tuesday, and got after it. It was probably warmer than I expected. I don't know what the temperature was, but it seemed warmer. And we were outside for most of the day. And had like one period each inside, but they played physical. They understand. We had a lot of coaches that have played in this game and coached in this game. We got 2 Auburn alum. We got a bunch of Georgia alum, and the historic nature of this game is very personal. And we had guys talk about that, and just explaining what the game means. And I think the players recognize that. They certainly practiced hard.
Yeah, Kirby, y'all talked a lot about discipline just in general, and when it comes to defending Auburn, just what are the keys to working on that and being where you need to be going into a game like this, particularly with the linebackers?
Well, I mean, to be honest with you, you have high discipline every game. There's no team that doesn't shift, motion, move, trade, tight end, move. I mean, it's like football now. Football has become this crazy event of moving people, reaching out to try to gain an advantage. And I don't know where it evolved to. It's just continued to. Used to be everybody standing still and hit each other. Now they all move. So I mean, the eye discipline is extremely important, but it's extremely important in every game. I think with Hugh, he does a great job of changing things up, giving you different pictures. They did a tremendous job in the game last year. We had a really good defense, and last year's game has been very important to us in terms of the way he played us, what he did, things off of it. And it would take great eye discipline to play well against them. Look, people don't misunderstand. They think that you're just coach speak when you talk about Auburn. These guys have not really made, they're not getting stopped. They're turning the ball over. Look at the stats of what they've done offensively. Don't look at the the scores. Just look at them go up and down the field. And they've stopped themselves a lot of times. So a lot of respect for the physicality they play with and how they play. They just, sometimes it's hard to control turnovers.
Last question from me about the Alabama game. The final offensive play you guys had for Kobe Young, obviously we've seen how good he is at those one-on-one moments. How did you feel about the play, the effort and execution of it? Obviously it didn't work. But I have to ask, you probably, I'm assuming in your headphones, did you know, would you have kicked the extra point or gone for 2 in that situation?
Yeah, a very interesting question. We had, I can't really say a lot about the play because I like the play call. I mean, it had worked previous, I mean, he's a guy that, he gets on top of people, you throw it over the top. He gets behind people, you throw it underneath. He makes a big play a lot of times. I mean, great play by their kid, I'll say that. But I have no problem with the play call because, we were getting on top of them prior to that. So, but we had discussed that. I had talked about it actually in length on the headphones at 2-minute mark, and we actually talked about it before the game because the LSU game came down to that with them, and LSU was at home when they decided, and we had discussed it previous, and I felt very strongly that if the clock was under 30 seconds, that we would probably go for 2. But talking to the analytics afterwards, it was suggested to not do it, to play overtime, to kick it. And there's a lot that goes into that because when you give a team enough time and they know what they need, meaning it's not tied, they have more aggression. They had 3 timeouts. They would have only needed a field goal. It would have played out, a possibly different way. But we had discussed it and leaning towards going for 2 if it was under 30, which I think happened around 43 or something. So.
Yeah, what does Michael Williams' skill set allow him to do as an edge defender that makes him so impactful in that regard?
Well, he has great length, great size, great athleticism, and when you play on tackles, the number one requirement is arm length. Most of the tackles in our league have 35, 34, and they have long arms. And when you play with somebody with short arms, they struggle to create an edge and set an edge. And he's able to set edges at a high level for us because he's he's big enough to play it, but he's also athletic enough to do some of the things outside backers do. So he's cutting the cloth of what you want to play with out there on the edges.
Coach, what stands out to you about Jarquez Hunter and the season that he's been able to have so far?
I heard Jarquez Hunter. What did
Yeah,
he?
just what stands out to you about him
Whew.
when he plays?
A lot. I mean, the dude, I don't know if it's the 27 thing. He reminds me so much of Nick Chubb. I mean, he's got a straight line, and he's like, he's so physical. People just bounce off of him. And it goes back to all those squat records. You know, we got one of our coaches coached him. Coach Bobo had him. I think maybe his freshman year, I'm not sure, but he talks about how great a kid he is, how strong he is, and then people literally bounce off of him. Like he's just a super physical, downhill. Like he makes you not want to tackle him. And he embarrassed us 2 years ago here, and then he had a really good game against us there. So we think he's one of the best backs in the country. And I don't know the perception out there, but to us it is. He's very, very good.
Yeah, Coach, you mentioned the Auburn turnovers. When you watch them on tape, is there anything that they consistently struggle with that might be causing those, or might be something that you could do to create some of those yourself?
No, I wish I knew how to like sprinkle some dust and get them and stop them. If I could figure that out, man, I'd be able to retire real soon, because I could go around and just like give it to everybody, but nobody knows. I mean, but they don't carry the ball poorly. They don't have poor ball security. They've had some unfortunate events and fumbles, and they've had some unfortunate. They had tips. I mean, some of their interceptions are tips and overthrows. I mean, how do you control that? I mean, number one, you catch the ball, but it's just hard to control that. I don't know. Every year somebody different wins the turnovers in the country, and you just don't want to be the team turning it over.
Kirby, to follow up on Jarquez, with him and really the other running backs they've got, what does that kind of add to the element of the RPO that they use? I mean, the fact that they've got those kind of dangerous backs is part of it.
It makes you stop the run, right? Like if you could sit back and play less people in the box and cover all the RPOs, well, you play like a team that you what do you call it, a lower level team, a team you pay. You come in here and they run RPOs, you're like, oh, okay, I can put one less in the box and I can cover these guys and dare you to run it. Well, you can't do that with them. You got to fill the box up. You got to go stop the run, and that's why he does what he does. He puts you in conflict. It's a guaranteed one-on-one matchup that you better have people that can cover people, because if you don't, then they'll expose you.
Yeah, Lawson Lucky had another touchdown catch against Alabama. What has his playmaking skill set as a pass catcher brought to that tight end room into this offense?
Versatility, athleticism. He's really a tough guy. I mean, he's physical, tough. Not afraid to get after it, but he's also a good pass receiver. I mean, when you say what has he brought? He's brought the versatility to run or pass, and he's getting better. I mean, he's still young in my eyes. I mean, most times your second year in college is like you're just starting to come out of your shell, and he missed a lot of time last year with the injury. If you think back, I think it was this game that he was just coming back in with the tightrope, so he's really a year removed from that. The sky's the limit. Lawson can be really good. He keeps getting better. I like his confidence, and I like his leadership and his mindset. He's got a toughness mindset.
Another tight end question, Kirby. Video losses. What's been his biggest adjustment he's had to make since coming from Stanford over here?
I don't really know that, because I never asked him that. That'd be a good question if you asked him that. I don't know the comparison. I know the speed of the game is really fast here. I can't say that that's the biggest difference. He would have to answer that.
When you talk about having people talk to the team about Auburn, are these the coaches on your staff? You have special guests come in, and why is that important?
No, it's us.
Yeah.
It's us. Because T-Rob and Stacy played there,
Yeah.
and a lot of us played in it, between Jonas, myself, Jarvis, Bobo, all the guys that played in the game. That's all I'm referencing. I just think it's important that you know that history.
Yeah, how has Ellis Robinson been developing for you guys during practice?
Ellis is getting better. He works his tail off. We tried to find roles for him on special teams. He's continuing to grow. He practices with the twos, all practice. those one-on-one reps and gets better. He's a good tackler. He's physical at the line of scrimmage. Does a good job with his hands. Good job with ball location, like getting balls down. But he's continuing to challenge those other guys. I mean, we've had those guys this week all getting lots of reps and competing.
Coach, another DB question. Where have you seen DeAndre Harris get better this season? How do you think it looked in coverage on Saturday?
Well, he had opportunities. He does a good job at the line of scrimmage. He had a really good play on 4th and 1 where he came and closed and helped set an edge on the stop we had on them on 4th and 1. Daniel continues to grow and mature. You know, he's 193 pounds now, and that's a big corner. And he doesn't even look 193. He could be 200 pounds easily because he's so long. But his practice habits have improved the most, and I've challenged him to say, you know, if you could practice every day, and I tell them all the time, what would Kamari do? What would Kamari do? And they'd probably get sick of hearing it. And comparison is the thief of joy. But Kamari is such a great practice player and walkthrough player that, you know, we have clips of him doing things in practice and walkthrough that we want them to emulate. And you know, he, Julio, and Dalen, and all those guys, they got to practice very intentional and stay focused, and it helps them play better.
Looking at the matchup with Auburn's offense, what do you want to see from your defense on Saturday? What does success for the defense look like to you?
Stops. I mean, that's what it looks like. They're hard to stop, guys. I mean, everybody's gonna say I'm crazy, but they're physical. They got good scheme, good plays, experienced quarterback, talented wideouts, great backs. I mean, the tight ends, they got to play forever. Those guys have been there playing football forever, so it's not like the moment's too big for them, or they don't. Experience is value in our league, and they got tremendous experience. But I mean, what looks good is punts. That's what looks good.
Coach, again, you talk about bringing those people to remind players, you know, how what a rivalry means and everything. Do you think players today are aware of that kind of thing? Less than, like, say, when you played back in the late 90s, were y'all more aware of what these rivalries were, what they meant, where you didn't have to have this kind of reminder?
We still had them. I mean, we had history lessons. We had coaches that told us the history of every game. I mean, we had them. I knew them because I grew up in a football family and loved football. All I did was watch football, but that's not what these kids do today. I don't think these kids know as much. I mean, they don't watch football. A lot of them. They play it, but they don't watch it. I don't know. Then you ask them, who's your favorite NFL team? I don't know.
I think that's strange to you, though. Like I said, you grew up watching the game on whenever you had.
They got more things to do.
Yeah.
They got more attention options. You know, they're going to be on their phone looking at social media and doing whatever, and they're not going to watch. It's just not what they do anymore. So I think it's important to make sure they understand.
Career high number of snaps for Cash on Saturday. Just what has he done to continue to earn a role in this offense?
What hasn't he done? He does everything he's asked. He competes. He practices at a high level. He earns what he gets. And matter of fact, he's probably earned more than he's gotten. But it was his kind of game. He's really good at pass pro. He's really physical at pass pro. He's really good at route running. He understands leverages. He's been in our system a long time. He plays great on special teams. Like he's earned everything he's gotten.
Got time for one more question? Anybody?
Obviously, you guys have done a good job of trying to get Dylan double touches the last couple of years. What's his development as a receiver? Now, obviously, he made a big play towards the end. You know.
I think he's gotten a lot better so wide out. I think Coley and Mike have done a good job taking what BMAC did and transitioning that into more. And he's a very just great young man. He's from a great high school over in Houston. He's got a great mom. Brother plays, you know, I think at Notre Dame. He's just a great kid, and he works so hard. He's developed. I mean, he was a high school running back, and could probably play running back. You know, he did for us, but he's developed, got better at route running, and his hard work has really paid off for him. So, just proud of what he's done and the opportunities he's gotten. He's taken advantage of, and we got to try to find more opportunities for a guy like him.
Thank you.